people out there under this stunning turn of events of a convict being elected as president of the United States. He's not pres. He's not my president. He's of a split of people who have left the United States. He is a split of the corporations of the United States, another bureaucracy, if you will, and the people that voted for him. This is illegitimate because this man is a legitimate candidate in the first place, who should be charged with treason instead. So since he works for the corporation, which he's admitted to himself that this is not a nation, he treats it as a business. He thinks the government is a business and that this is all one corporation. So he thinks he's the boss of this corporation. He's not the real president of the United States of America, the sovereign nation, right? And this fucking piece of crap, and all his bureaucratic friends, they're all treasonous people who have betrayed the Constitution and who have betrayed their oath and have betrayed the American people, have betrayed the Jesus Christ, have betrayed, and I condemn them openly right now because that's what they are. Who are evading justice and an unholy alliance that will probably soon fucking disintegrate. I mean, and what I say is that, it's funny. I want to talk about one thing, which what it is and what it isn't. If you think that you're a man because you voted Donald Trump, I'll have you know that you guys are like the biggest pussies ever. I mean, you are like the biggest fucking pussies ever. And I want to say this again because you might be under the impression that to be a man, you got to be a motherfucking you gotta have money or you gotta have bitches, like Donald Trump, right? And that's not a fucking man. You know what I mean? That's not even a Christian. And I will have to say that the only people that if you are a Christian, then you would see my outrage. Even though if you got duped and you're a Christian and you believed in God, then you would see my outrage. But it only took me a while to disseminate about him, about a day. You know what I mean? Of listening, and I have to understand. And I'll tell you right now, like I said, all the people that sucked that sucked, including Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, you are all fucking cucks, and you are not real men. I mean, you're not real men, dog. And you know what? You know how I got proof? Because the only nigga that because look, let me check this out. You want to talk about real men, right? You want to talk about patriotism, and you want to talk about people who died for our freedom. You know what I mean? People who were truly stoic, not you fucking retards that sit behind a fucking computer, okay? That try to say that you want to talk shit and whatever. Not like these biased people influencers that have never seen real action and they're just spreading misinformation with their bias, okay? Because they have hatred and who will never pull up and do shit, against a traitor, treasonous person, a pedophile, a rapist, and a motherfucking con artist, a fake Christian like Donald Trump. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You are not real men. You know what I mean? Let me just tell you that straight up. You're not real men in neither of those scenarios. You know what I mean? And I would tell you that the only person that is more of a man than you pulled up on Donald Trump, and he was a 20-year-old incel. You know what I mean? And he's a person who everybody calls the range, but he's the only one that pulled up on Donald Trump. You guys haven't gotten Donald Trump's cock out your mouth enough time to fucking see what Donald Trump is. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. And if you want to talk, I don't really want to enlighten you so much as watch you fucking destroy yourself. You know what I mean? Because but given the fact that your people are gonna hurt and affect millions of people for this generation, you guys are condemned to hell, and I freaking really, 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 really bid you farewell. You know what I mean? And the fact of the matter is, right, that it only took me a day to disseminate that you guys are full of shit. All of you motherfuckers are full of shit. And that you're not real Christians. You're not real even patriots. You know what I mean? And since, again, you guys are... I could go into depth about this shit, but realizing one thing. Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, all these influencers that are online were nothing but a bunch of fucking pansy influencers. You know what I mean? That were trying to get a fucking trying to get a BuzzFeed, trying to get trying to go viral, trying to get a meal ticket. You know what I mean? And they're nothing but fucking corrupted American dreams who have betrayed the freedom and have supported a treasonous sitting president, or a treason has elected a freaking treasonous rapist. You know what I mean? And those are facts. He's a convicted rapist. He's not just that. And people that are under the impression that he's a man of God, let me tell you that this is the most fucking charade, biggest blasphemous, sacrilegious bunch of people I've ever seen ever mention Jesus Christ in their mouth, right? This man hasn't even admitted to what he did with Jeffrey Epstein. And you know how Joe Rogan has his cock in his mouth that he sat with him for 3 hours and never asked him, Mr. Conspiracy, right? Mr. Oh, I'm a fucking ape. I don't believe in God. I killed a man with my heel, and it's funny. I mean, this fucking bald-headed motherfucker that, you know, smoke weed and shit with Elon Musk and all these motherfuckers. Okay, you guys were watching that from the comforts of your own fucking home. These guys have never been on the front line watching. They've been at UFC fights, right? These guys are pagans. These guys are people that are a piece of shit. They like violence. I mean, Joe Rogan's a murderer. He killed a man with his fucking heel. I mean, and this fucking guy, you know, apparently likes to get along with Trump, right? And Trump, he was sat with him for 3 hours and never asked him about Epstein. He asked him about once, and he did it in passing, disregarded it after that. You know what I mean? Didn't even say nothing about it, right? And then 2 days before, he endorsed him. You know what I mean? Or a day before he endorsed Donald Trump. Like I said, cock in his mouth. And all these people that supported him are under the impression that Trump is not a rapist and that he's not a convicted felon and who has all these problems against him. And y'all like to try to say, well, the establishment is mad. Okay, so this is where you might get your mind fucking blown. You should get your wig pushed back, but because we already blew your fucking mind and you still don't fucking listen. I mean, so you might as well fucking get your wig split. You know what I mean? And the point is because you're treasonous. Because this man, Donald Trump, when he was in sitting president, he not only denied and went on this tirade about federal getting the election stolen, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he went on a tirade without no evidence with Rudy Giuliani about the left stealing the election. And for that resulted in January 6th. Or we find out what type of man Trump is. A man who would go against Mike Pence and go against anybody who doesn't, when we saw him for what he is. He's a man who wanted to self-glorify himself, which was the whole reason why of January 6th. While feeding a lie simultaneously, running on the emotions of these people who are uneducated and who have fallen to his religious understanding of what he thinks God is. You know what I mean? And his faith, right? Who has preyed on them and has worked them to point the finger at somebody when he has three fingers pointed back at him. He was pointing at the left while he had he had freaking indictments from all angles. You know, he had all type of shit going against him. You know, from all things. There was organizations, because he did win presidency. There was organizations that told him. There was in 2021 when he lost the election and he went, January 6th. They said he didn't have any proof. There was no proof of the left ever doing this shit. I mean, what he's blaming them, because we're not fake ass crybabies that act like they're Christians while complaining. Suck it up, Buttercup. Pray harder. Suffer the little children. You know what I mean? And then it was like they said no, like the immigrants or whatever. Okay, fine. The ones that you criminalize, right? The ones that you project, the ones that you dehumanize, the ones that you say are rapists and murderers. Okay. You know what I mean? Let me say this. First of all, that was a political situation that Trump himself caused because they didn't want to create. But no, I'm getting ahead of myself. When he was that, he didn't have no evidence on the left. Him nor Rudy Giuliani nor anybody else produced evidence of that going on, right? They didn't know this was going on. They might have said it came from the ether. They might have said it came from the grapevine. What are they talking about? I mean, his own people were like, dude, no, we're not going to go against our oath of the Constitution. No, we're not going to help you. Okay? Remember when things were sweet, when people still had some reason in their fucking mind? You know what I mean? And they still had an oath to uphold in this Constitution, right? when they said no, like, and what he do? He fired them. 39% of people left because he fired them because he thinks that he's running a company instead of he calls the government a business. Okay, he understands that he only works for the economical thing about it, and he thinks it's a corporation. He understands that it's a corporation. I mean, which some people, Americans, still don't know. And the fact of the matter is, right, that he would be a good poster child for Woodrow Wilson, but that's too far back, right? The point of the fact of the matter is that he didn't have no proof while simultaneously feeding his base about somehow the left being implicated in this stuff. No proof, whatever. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all didn't show up, no proof. There's no proof. Rudy Giuliani, nobody. When they asked for Rudy Giuliani to produce those, he didn't have nothing to say, right? That's why he fired the head department. They said, "No, you're out of your mind, dog. We can't do this. We can't, and you're telling all these people." He threw Mike Pence under the water and hot water. He put them under the whatever. But there was, what there was evidence of? Russian collusion, Russian interference, and you know what they were helping? They were helping the election. They were interfering with the election. There was proof of that, right? And the people that did this were tech companies that disappeared right after Trump's campaign was over. There were marketing companies that they hired that disappeared and dissolved right after he got elected. These people worked. They were whistleblowers that worked for Google and shit, and some of them found out that they were helping him. With the marketing, like targeting demographic, using sort of something of data that they had collected from the internet, our data. So they were sending. So initially they were sending people down the rabbit hole, right, to get scared, right, down the rabbit hole. And sending them misinformation, saying Crooked Hillary this, while his mouth was fucking doing the same thing, right? And he was saying, no, the fake media is coming from somewhere, and he was also spreading disinformation. So you see, that's how these unfortunately these people who never had a college degree that lived in the Silver Rulers, they were duped into thinking this stuff, like Pizzagate and all that shit. You know what I mean? All these people that have disinformation, so they were spreading disinformation left and right about the left. There's a cabal, blah 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 blah. I mean. Again, no real evidence, right? And that worked against the American people. That's what Russian did. Now, the treasonous part comes when he becomes president. They say, look, and they're like, okay, fucking Trump, you know what I mean? You motherfucker, you know what I mean? And look, you are going past your boundaries and shit, and you have no evidence. They did this investigation and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Which he was supposed to get arraigned by. I mean, they never produced any evidence that the left did anything. They found evidence that Russia had colluded and helped his campaign. One of his guys, called Mark Davis, the guy who wrote Project 2025, his name is Mark Davis. He did 40 months because because he was the director of the campaign manager. I don't know what he was. He was on his team, right? Most of the people that are on Project 2025, even though Trump disassociates with them, he hired them. They're mostly the members of his fucking administration. I mean, he hired those motherfuckers. They didn't come out of nowhere. They're the Heritage Foundation. They're far right-wing extremists that he hired. And Mark Davis was one of them. And Mark Davis is the one that wants to put kids in cages, and he calls it glorious. He's the one with the whole illegal the deportation shit. That man did 40 months in prison because he didn't want to cooperate with FBI when they were trying to investigate the whole Russia collusion. When they were investigating him, they knew they can't prove it, right? But he had knowledge of that, and he didn't want to because it helped the Trump campaign. So he didn't cooperate. He didn't cooperate with the FBI. He ended up doing 40 months. I mean, but he was the fall man because he was a campaign manager who they said he knew that Russia collusion was happening, but he didn't report it to anybody, right? He knew that Russian collusion was happening and he didn't report it to anybody. He spent 40 months in jail, right? And so when they said when he went to jail, and you can say that's cap, but check this out. When he went in front of Putin, who is Russia, right? Again, they reiterated to Trump because even though he said, "Oh, I didn't know it," he knew it. I didn't know. He was my campaign manager. I didn't have nothing to do with that. That's what Trump says. So, hey, take the rap for me, man. I got you. I'll bail you out. You know what it is, cuz? From the streets. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's what he did. That's who Trump is. And when I'll bail you out eventually. When he motherfucking when he went to Russia to meet with Putin, the CIA, the FBI, and the NSA, the director of NSA, reminded him, "Hey, we have with great certainty that that Russia interfered in our election for you, right, or whatever that you deny. You know what I mean? But they interfered into our election with great certainty." He also fired the cybersecurity director that worked while he was in president. He fired that guy too. The guy that said that, hey, this happened. You know what I mean? He relocated to another job. He you know what I mean? He went to go fund his own company, right? He got fired from that. That guy said that, hey, look, dude, I don't care, bro. I'm telling them, nigga, there was evidence, nigga, that they did this shit. That's his job, right? And when the Russia collusion, so when he went to Putin, what did he do? He sat down with Putin. What he said was he rejected the information from the CIA, from the FBI, and the director of the NSA, who had all said that they had, with great certainty, evidence that Russia had interfered into our elections. He rejected the information that they all said to him, and he told Putin, "I don't believe that you interfered in our elections." He said to Putin that he didn't believe that he had anything to do with it, instead of accusing him, right? Instead of fucking asking him what's going on. Hey, man, like, I heard you did some shit to our people. Like, are some of your people, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? He didn't do it. You know what's funny is that Moscow owned up to this shit in 2024, or like a week ago, a couple of days ago. They've owned up to it, and they said, not only did we fucking do that to you, we control 80% of all the foreign affairs that are happening around the globe. Which means that they have meddled. They are hackers. What you don't understand about Russia is that they're a bunch of lone wolves that are hackers, who are ex-KGB, they don't work, not like the tech companies here, not like the security companies here. They are lone people who are ex-KGB, who are old Soviets, they're poor, they don't do shit. All they do is sell shit on the black market, and that's where they get their billions from. That's where they get the money. They buy guns, they buy cars, but they're all wanting to kill each other. They live next to hitmen and mafia people. The only people that they're allowed to attack are outside the country. They cannot attack their own companies. They have to attack other people. So there's this motto that they tell them to attack the United States. So they are the ones that attack our companies and shit. Not only that, they've owned up to it. Moscow has owned up to it and said they are the ones that are attacking 80% of the world's foreign affairs. Right? Because they're all, the whole country, that they are all, like I said, their cybersecurity, their technological things are not a company. They're just regular hackers. You know, they're all spread out. They're all fucking, on their own shit. But they're all poor. They have this old Soviet thing, communism and all that. And they live next to mafia people that they don't even fucking know. But they're there because those fucking same mafia people will kill them if they step out of line, because they know that they're hackers. You know what I mean? And if those hackers attack a company that is within Russia and tries to hurt their own companies, like Anonymous does here, they would get fucking killed. You know what I mean? Once they step out of line, then they will get met with in real life. The real mafia people will come in real life and fuck them up. So they're only allowed to do certain things. And one of those things that they're allowed to do is attack the United States, right? Instead of their own companies, right? So what that means is that they, for certain, some of those niggas, you gonna tell me that they didn't attack it? Okay. You know what I mean? Of course they did, right? And the fact of the matter is that when Trump went to Putin, he said, "I don't believe that our intelligence, I don't believe that they're doing that." You know what I mean? And what he said was that he told Putin to his face, you see this man, he's a good man. It's not his fault. He's clean. I mean, you know what I mean? At the same time, like I said, it's encouraged for them not to attack their own companies, but to attack other people. They don't get dealt with by the police. They get dealt with by the mafia, the mobs, right? Because they're corrupt as fuck and shit over there. They live next to hitmen, next to their neighbor, who never comes out their room, who they don't even fucking know, who's an ex-KGB fucking double agent. You know what I mean? Literally. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? And who are people who will kill them if they step out of line. They all know that. You know what I mean? That they'll get dealt with in real life for shit they do on the internet. The shit they do when they hack other people. They're only allowed to hack. They're encouraged to hack the United States. Not their own people. So, you know, what happens is that Trump fucking, you know, again, fired the cybersecurity person who said, no, we have great certainty that there's Russian collusion. You know what I mean? For sure. I mean, and the NSA and the motherfucker, all these people, and the FBI, the CIA. And he said, no, that's not true. And he went to Putin and he said, no, I don't believe they're doing that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you know what? It might be the Ukrainians. You know, he's like, about the Ukraine, Putin is a fucking, he's a fucking Soviet, he's a soldier. This motherfucker is a double agent, triple agent motherfucker. You know what I mean? The fucking people didn't understand that about him, right? But that's what he is. He's killed people. And the fact of the matter is that he probably felt out Donald Trump, and he's like, you know what? We have problem with the Ukrainians. Maybe it was them. Those people are criminals. Basically, I don't know how exactly this went down. Trump said, okay, yeah, it might be the Ukrainians then. And Trump agreed with Putin and said, you know what, those Ukrainian people, the NATO countries are causing a problem. What about them? They're the ones that are in our country. They're doing crimes and shit. Trump condemned Ukraine on Putin to help Putin. He agreed, right? And that led to the systemic racism and murdering of Ukrainians within Russia, driving them out, right? Back into their country, to the systemic oppression of them within their own country. They started jailing them. By targeting them. That's what Putin did. And after he met with Trump, right? And when Trump said that it was Ukraine's fault, you already know what's going on now, right? With the war that happened, because Trump said that he demonized them as well. He said that, so he endorsed that shit. He endorsed it. And so he said, I don't even know why the NATOs are in that country. Then he came back over here and started talking shit to us like, why are we helping these countries anyway? You know what I mean? Right? That's what he did. He caused a fucking crisis. Right? And these are our allies. Why, nigga? Because that was set there before your fucking time. And that was set there by people who weren't draft dodgers and who gave their life for our freedom and shit, you motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like you're a draft dodger. You know what I mean? Those were put there by real patriots. You know what I mean? And same with the line that was the maritime waters outside of North Korea, that of those waters that do not belong to him, because they're South Korea's. For the fucking fact that which stands of why those lines were drawn up is beyond your fucking comprehension, man. You know what I mean? The same reason why Taiwan is not part of China. You know what I mean? And so when he gave Ukraine to Russia, he did something that he shouldn't have done. Right? He should not have messed with that, because he doesn't even know why those things were set there since the war, for a reason. You understand what I'm saying? You want to feel sympathy for them. Oh, why are they doing this? Why are they doing all this? And nah. Look at the war that they've done in Ukraine. Right now, currently, North Korea is attacking Ukraine. North Korea, with Putin attacking Ukraine, and North Korea is just doing all that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So Trump, you know what I mean, escalating shit, right? Giving in, which is what they warned us about Trump. He failed. He got in a good friggin' partnership with North Korea, Kim Jong-un, and he failed to denuclearize him. You know what I mean? He failed to denuclearize him. He didn't condemn the Russian hackers and that meddled and helped his election. And think about that. It helped his election. You know what I mean? And then he gave him Ukraine. Or he tried to. He tried to demonize Ukraine. And then he came back to us and said, hey, you know what? That man doesn't seem too bad to me. You know what I mean? Okay? And again, and then he fired cybersecurity. He went against, and he fired the director of the NSA, whatever, FBI too, because they're looking into him too. So he's pointing a finger at who? The immigrants, and he has the CIA, FBI. How many motherfucking indictments does he have? How many fucking people are pointing the finger back at him? You know what I mean? He's pointing it at the left. How many people are investigating his ass right now? Right? We used to love justice. If you love God, you love justice. Justice. You know that word? You love it. You know what I mean? If you have faith. Right? He said this, look. If that's not worthy of treason, then what is? I mean, if that's not worthy of treason, then what is? Denying your own intelligence agencies and cooperating or having more of a relationship with a dictator, a communist dictator, than you do with your own intelligence agencies. What is that? What is that? What do you call it? I mean, you think he's more intelligent than all these departments combined? I mean, that's what you're trying to make me believe? Not even Elon Musk is going to save Donald Trump from hell. You know what I mean? Not even Elon Musk with his rocket ship is going to be able to take him out of here. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What was I going to say? You know, not only has this led to like an escalation of war between Russia and Ukraine, that has led to the deaths of many people. You know what I mean? Let's not even mention what happened in Syria when he pulled out there. He pulled out from there as well. The humanitarian crisis that was led by the Syrian allies who were left to defend themselves against the Turks on their own. He got condemned by the government, by the Congress condemned him for that, for causing a humanitarian crisis. All right. Not to mention the escalation between Israel and Palestine when they were with Iran or whatever the fuck, when they were talking about the Golan Heights, when he said he recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and also also the sovereignty of the Golan Heights. You know? The fucking the people in Israel think that, hey, this is their man. I mean, maybe that's where y'all getting mixed up. I mean, maybe that's where y'all are blinded. Like those orthodoxy Jews, like Ben Shapiro, who still thinks that Jesus Christ was a rebel after 2,000 years. Do you see how you have unholy alliances that cannot stand? I mean, but hey, because these are your influencers, your biased supporters, whatever. Does it beat atheism? Does it beat a gay atheist? Because a gay atheist is waging war across fucking world. I mean, let me see. When obviously this is not good. It's not right. This is a lot of stuff. But this is what happens when you when you don't listen to wisdom, when you're disobedient. This is what happens when you're disobedient, when you don't listen, when you don't submit to God and God's word, and listen to your elders, listen to your families, listen to your traditions, go with the people that are smart. This is what happens when you're just totally a fucking reprobate. I mean, seriously. That's when you elect a person like Donald Trump. I mean, when you're the complete reprobate, which says something about this last election. Also, right, you might think that these guys are tough. You're exchanging one evil for another evil, right? Unfortunately, some of these evils, like, it's so funny that y'all think y'all give a fuck. So let me explain. So let me elaborate and enlighten some more people, viewers that I might be on here. Abortion is biblical, right? Because I got enlightened about this. I knew it. I knew it was biblical, and now my life makes a lot more sense, right? Regardless of the fact. The reason it's biblical is because God says that it's better to it's better for abortion than to create an abomination. For a woman to do an abortion when it's out of lying with committing adultery, or when she hasn't lied with a man, when she hasn't had consent, basically. In other words, the only time that is good is when she's had The only time it's good is when she's been raped, or when she has committed adultery against her husband, in order not to create abominations and become a cursed woman walking around with an abomination. I mean, this is what God told Moses to say to the people, right? In Numbers 5:5, right? Which is more moral that we've known, that has been instilled in us, yet we went against, because some people say that abortion should be abolished, right? And made us fight with that for this extremism, right? Which is genetically based. So you say that you went against Jezebel when you fell for the devil that is older than Jezebel. I mean, because this man, you know what I mean? Because look, if you understand one thing, man created sin. Like, men are sin. We're all sinners, right? Eve might have, bit by the apple, right? And now I have to, because I said this, now I have to dismantle you. Look how stupid and blinded we were, right? How tricked we were. They say, we go back to that, right? To say, hey, women are sinners, and they sin first, and they should listen to us. When we should listen to the female voice of wisdom, but when reality, men are supposed to be working, and they're supposed to be the head of the household, sure. But when they talk about Romans, when they talk about how people become gay and people become all that stuff, and within a society, it's the men that fuck up first. When men are being men, and they trade when they start pursuing their own desires of their heart, and they leave the woman and they start sexually objectifying her and start having, they start having extra curricular sex or whatever. Like, I mean, that doesn't make sense. Recreational sex, without procreation. When they start treating women and with against their own natural use, which is a procreation and loving and being your wife, stuff like this, being your partner, when you started sexually objectifying, start giving them money or whatever, or when you start disrespecting them, you're chasing your own heart's desire, right? You're chasing fame, you're chasing fortune, you're chasing vanity, power, control, all that stuff, right? And that's when, that's why all these rappers are clowns, because they chase lucre, and somebody, a esos payasos otro cabrón le está dando palo, a la mujer de ellos, like rappers, or people, or celebrities, or like this nigga. This nigga is just the same thing. He cheated on his first wife. Trump cheated on his first wife for Melania, and then while Melania was pregnant, he cheated on her with Stormy Daniels, and he got charged with that, right? While she was pregnant. He's a piece of shit, and so this guy, and all his kids are legitimate. Like the kids that he had with him, they're illegitimate. Okay. Let me also say something else. Like, again, when God tells you when the church tells you to not have abortions, they mean for you to be wise and never get yourself in a situation that is going to have to cause you to get abortion, which is only when you don't do the sacraments, and you don't go to church, and you lose your virginity before and those things, right? And that leads to those to abominations, unfortunately, right? Who have to get purged and have to go to baptism. Either way, but the point is that it's within a woman's right to do so, right? At the end of the day. But if she lied with a man consensually, then she lied with a man consensually. But again, when she hasn't lied with a man, right, which means that against her consent, and when she's cheated on her husband, which is adultery, then you cannot have these illegitimate children. Is what is the best saying of it, where you can understand it, translation, which is morally superior than what just abolishing it and subjecting these women to die, right, during pregnancy, because they didn't choose to, right? That is the moral. That is what we call the middle ground, right? The point of the matter is, even though the problem is, because of this extremism, which I don't know where it came from. I think it came the extremism of abolishing abortion in general is not even biblical. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's not even biblical. And so that's where these are the type of things that people have been pushing, that they have usurped and perverted the word of God and have tricked us, deceived us. You know what I mean? And again, you're putting your faith in these people, right? When that's more like in lines of genetic, eugenics. I mean, that's more in that's more in the line of, oh, I want to build up my white population again. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Remember when they put John the Baptist on a so anyway, look, on a silver platter, because they called it is, he said to King Harold that you people shouldn't follow King Harold because his wife's a whore. I mean, well, that's what I'm saying to you, fake ass Christian that voted for Trump and try to make it believe that's why you're voting for him. He's a godly man, my ass. I'm not even Jewish. I mean, and the fact of the matter that y'all worshiping the false son of man. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Vivek Swami is a Hindu. And, think about Donald Trump, that they said, who one of his closest friend, namely Jeffrey Epstein, described Trump before he died, described Trump as a man who doesn't understand the concept of cause and effect. In other words, doesn't understand the concept of karma. You know what I mean? Karma, which is a Hindu belief. You know what I mean? Which is what Vivek Ramaswamy is. You know what I mean? Unholy alliance. Unholy alliance. I don't care what y'all say. You know what I mean? And also, Jeffrey Epstein also said that Trump has a mind of a man who only knows about construction and real estate. He knows everything about real estate, everything about construction. Doesn't have anything else outside of that. Anything analytical, any type of mind of cause and effect or karma or any of these things. I mean, he might know some stuff. He read the word. He was he went to church. He went to which he didn't graduate, I think, and he moved. But he went to a religious, church, college or whatever. You know what I mean? But again, he lived the whole life of lucre. I mean, what else must I say? Right? That the men, like I said, the only men that voted for him, they're not real men. They were never the image of a real man. Half the dudes that voted for him, like Andrew Tate, you know what I mean, they ran off to the Quran, which Muhammad is a pedophile, you know what I mean, rapist of a 9-year-old girl who was his wife while he was like 54, you know what I mean, and who was the greatest deceiver in battle or whatever, and they thought that was what was he was a great deceiver, and he was a man who violence and whatever, betrayed the people who he made alliances with. He made a treat, I'm just saying. He was the great. They call him the great deceiver. I mean, yeah, because he's a pagan god and he's a false prophet, worshiping his god is a pagan god. I mean, and whatever. But yeah, I mean, but I'm not a Muhammad or whatever Muslim. You know what I mean? And I'm not a Protestant, and I'm not and I'm not a Presbyterian either. Though they're good people, sure. But we should be friendly to them because they're Christians, but we should not give the country over to them. Fortunately, whatever they're seeing, we're going off of faith and faith alone, because it doesn't make no logic and it doesn't make anything else. You know what I mean? And I think it's actually a mistake. And I think that, like I said with King Harold, they wanna say he's like a leader like Jehu. I mean, oh, he's like a leader trying to kill the Jezebel spirit. Oh, because of the feminists and all that people that the oppression, that they still have some of that oppression, that slavery that you put them through, that unjustified slavery that you put them through for 400 years. They still have some. They want to express themselves a little bit. So no, they're Jezebels. and you guys are oh, so let's vote for a rapist, instead. You know what I mean? Let's vote for the white devil instead. Who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. No, nigga, he's more like King Harold and shit. Who we should decry and say fuck you. We rebuke you because your wife's a whore. I mean, that's who we should say. He's not like King Jehu. He's not righteous in this manner. I mean, and who we should rebuke. I mean, quite frankly. The problem is that the Christians don't want to rebuke him because y'all go hard in the paint. You know what I mean? When y'all need to. Um, that's what it is. And again, the only guy, you just talking about Joe Rogan, all these niggas pulled up. Oh, no. Yeah. The only nigga that pulled up was an incel 20-year-old who had more love for this country, probably for black and brown people, probably for women, more than you fuckers ever had. And that's what it was. Y'all all got overshadowed by a white boy who gave his life for trying to do something. And people say he's crazy, he's deranged. There was no evidence that he ever had mental problems. He did good in school. He got like a certificate of math and whatever. All his friends or whatever said, hey, we didn't know nothing. He didn't show any signs. His own parents were like, what the fuck is going on? Okay? And he was there's one other point that I was gonna make, but some guys are stupid out here. They're fucking talking shit. He worked helping old people in an old nursery home, which means that he cared about doing some of the most helpful things to the baby boom generation. Which is a lot of people that need to be in a lot of nursing homes that are going to be filled up with older people, by the way. You know what I mean? And he was one of those people that do good works. You know what I mean? Just like many people, mainly like a lot of black people and stuff, who do good works and help elderly people. That's who that guy was. That's who that kid was. He didn't have no history of that would indicate anything that he was insane, that he was deranged or whatever. Deranged, while these people are being spoon fed, their shit sandwich from Donald Trump. Because of the fact that nobody has stopped this man from creating an emotional trauma and a mental trauma on people he thinks are stupid, that he can fucking lie for months, for years. You know what I mean? And fire the people closest to him who don't believe him, who don't trust him. You know what I mean? That are not with his agenda. You know what I mean? While evading justice, evading and lying and like compulsive liars. There was the first presidency was 30,000 lies. 30,000 lies that y'all people, again, y'all like their shit sandwich very good. Y'all all defend it. Y'all fucking say, oh, y'all, the shit sandwich tastes pretty good. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole big pile of shit. And you say, oh, yum. It's good. It's fun, isn't it? Hey, we get to go outside and party and stuff. Hey, we get to kick people out. We get to say F you N words, F you B words. Hey, they can't do nothing to us now. Ha ha ha. That's what y'all say, right? And you know what I mean? And y'all just that pathetic. We are pathetic because you are part of the United States, but you're traitors. But we are pathetic. You made us look fucking weaker than ever. By crying. If they only knew what the fuck was going on in here. If those fucking other countries knew what's happening internally up in this bitch. You know what I mean? How y'all are a bunch of little fucking crybabies. You know what I mean? That fucking whine and shit. And then try to act tough and shit while y'all a bunch of pieces of shit. You know what I mean? Again. Y'all not ready for God. Y'all not ready for a utopia. And y'all definitely weren't ready for a female president. That's for sure. And y'all underestimating the real, because again, the people that went and voted for this man were not college educated, and they were probably going through a lot of fucking bullshit in their mind. I can see that now. They're probably traumatized and shit because they believe this man out of fear. For lack of faith, you had fear, and that fear has done seed your fate. If you had faith, you wouldn't have fear. You understand that? Without faith, you wouldn't have fear. So I hope y'all pray about that. Because if you knew you were going to heaven, then why would you fear? Oh no, because blah blah blah. You know what I mean? We're gonna trust. No, no. Oh no, it's justice or whatever. You love justice? Then why isn't this man going to jail? Why are we charging him for treason? Why are we charging him for fucking misleading the U.S. citizens? Why are we charging him for a number of crimes, felony charges? I mean, what do you want? You want to know that he's a pedophile? Epstein's dead, but there's allegedly some people that believe that he has a list, and Trump's on it, at least 7 times in his private jet. I mean, at least there's. I mean, hey, we might not get that, but we have convicted rapists. You know what I mean? We have avoiding taxes. We have that he's a fucking like I just defended the treason argument that he's fucking committed treason, and that he's attacked civilians and citizens and other people. He's inspired riots. He tried to usurp power. He's going against the Constitution. He's going against every fucking law that was there to block him, and he kept fucking doing it. All right, he got 34 counts of conspiracy, election fraud. You know what I mean? All these people betraying the oath of the Constitution, treason, colluding with Russia, or lying about it. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? And not telling the rest of us what they're doing. He done it all, man. I mean, there is no more fucking shit to do. What else? You gave it to him. The motherfucker, you fucking guys are you guys are fucking fake, fucking, I know what you are. I know what you are. You are our sexy, you are body armor, human body armor for the devil. But I'm not a terrorist. You know what I mean? That's why you're still alive. You know what I mean? Because we have nothing but love for you Christians that are so misguided. And you're a part of us. We are the U.S. and you have given it over to a fucking man that shouldn't be a president. I mean, and you are part of us. We are in the same fucking boat, whether you like it or not. You stupid fucks. And I think personally, I think that y'all have fucked up tremendously. I mean, because again, the border crisis was because of a bipartisan issue that they did not want to agree on. That the right did not want to agree on. He did, and he said it on first thing with his TPS shit that he's talking that they're trying to roll out now, which he said that they want to get rid of TPS completely, right? Not only 2 years, but the whole thing. That's what he's saying. I don't think he's gonna get that. I don't think he's gonna pass through. But this is what his hopes and dreams are, with the Heritage Foundation and the fucking part and the criminals that transpired with him to commit treason on the United States of America. That's what I consider them. I don't consider him a legitimate president. I don't consider him shit. I think he duped the people, and I think the people fell for the you fell for the system that is defending him, that he's using, because you have never seen, there's no precedent for fucking Joe Rogan and Elon Musk and all these motherfuckers going on the internet and fucking duping your fucking kids and duping your children, lying to everybody, lying to your children, and doing all this shit and capitalism and money marketing manipulation, money market manipulation, all this bullshit all in one fucking capitalistic fucking corporation that you want him to be CEO of. I mean, there's never been a president, and that's why you're fucked. I mean, that's why y'all fucking set a new president, a new low. I mean, but this shit is I think, gonna have a lot of repercussions, bro. And I think that y'all have destroyed the fabric of what if y'all were fighting for the sovereign nation that once was the United States, then it's over. And this is now a corporation. And that's why I say that's why I look back to Woodrow Wilson. If you don't know who the president Woodrow Wilson is, he was the man who was president while they enacted the Federal Reserve. The 1914, when there was a market crisis. The crisis was the depression that the market whatever. There's a depression. There was a depression. The RMS Titanic sank with a bunch of billionaires opposition. I mean, other United States investors and whatever capitalists, but they died. And the people that stayed behind, there was a crisis, and they enacted a Federal Reserve. That Federal Reserve then made the sovereign nation of the United States a corporation in which it could get charged by the Federal Reserve, by a bank, in order to get a loan. And since they didn't have enough money in the U.S. Treasury, what they bartered with was the human labor force as collateral, which then enacted the freaking, birth certificates and then rolled out their capitalistic agenda. Like John Ford and all these capitalists, like J.P. Morgan. All these people, even Dale Carnegie, and all these people that still, that they put out there that, you should work a 9 to 5, blah, 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 blah. No, that you should be a capitalist like them who betrayed the United States and got into bed with who betrayed John Adams and got into bed with a European, bank. And who took away your sovereign nation and created an indoctrination system instead of an education system. And that's why it's never changed, because the situation hasn't changed as to why it's an indoctrination system. Because they wanted at that time for people to work in John Ford's, General Motors factories, assembly line, where they just twist one little thing on some little assembly line. They just do this. The frontal lobe cortex, same fucking autonomous movement, all day. That's the same. That's the shit, and that's what that was the shit that they could amount to. There's no reason to put more in the education. Let's just let these. They're gonna be factory workers anyway. And so it was like, so that's what they were doing. Oh yeah, I'm giving them jobs and they'll be able to provide. Just come work in my factories and stuff, Oh yeah, look at this greatest, the richest man. He's giving people jobs, hey. And they're like, but that led to not putting an investment in the educational system, because all they were gonna do was be fucking factory line workers. So they didn't change the system of the education system. Only the people that knew, that were the top people. That's why they kept y'all stupid for like a whole 100 years, and they didn't want to change the education system, right? And so that's why it's still the same way, sort of, because they still were just raising factory workers. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't want people to be rich like them. They didn't want to like what they did, and they created their white class, like the elites. You know what I mean? Off that shit. And that's why, and Trump is a representative of those things. You know what I mean? And he treats them. That's why you're stupid, and that's why you're duped. You know what I mean? Try this. You like conspiracies? Try that one on for size. Because it's called The Truth. And then they indoctrinated y'all, and they made y'all stupid and then they didn't change the educational system. It became indoctrination. It's not education. It's indoctrination. It became political. It became capitalistic. It became, you're just gonna be factory workers, etc. And they're gonna come every time they make $1 million. Off of you dumb fucks. And there are more of us. And again, Trump's policy plans are gonna fuck those people up. The people that are people that didn't go to college, and people that are fucked, the working class. That's who's gonna hurt. Gonna gut us. It's not gonna be good. Not gonna be good, and especially even for the lower class. And so the only people, and again, these are corporations, right? So y'all are the labor force. Y'all are the corporate stock of the corporation, and this is where you have preferred stock, common stock, and lower stock. You know what I mean? And the people that are preferred stock, unfortunately, are the think that they're going to become preferred stock. You know what I mean? And that the things are not going to apply to them. The ones that they voted, they were corrupt American dreams, voted for a fascist. Voted for a slave master. Back in the 1800s, these people would look like the people that wanted in the South that wanted to have slaves. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the American dream is to have slaves and shit. You know what I mean? And stuff. Now y'all want to be millionaires. Y'all want to be preferred stock, who don't have to pay taxes and who get away with it, like the elites, right? But the system is not made for us. It's not made for that. This is a discriminatory act. This is treason to the United States itself. Again, it's just a corporation for greed, for lucre. You know what I mean? It is for privilege. It is for class. It is for, all this, etc., etc. And y'all fucking, that's what y'all want. Y'all just couldn't stand seeing black and brown people making it. Y'all couldn't stand to see a black female president. And all the rights that they have fought for and come back from there. You know what I mean? What else was I gonna say? You know what I mean? People should be scared. Half the shit I don't think is gonna fly. You know what I mean? Because it's just nonsense. It's just taking us back a long time. You know what I mean? And again, the reason, this is the reason why we didn't want to fucking, like, this is the reason why I fucking never liked Republicans, because they still have that stench of fucking ignoramus and going against God just for lucre, but always coming in time to fucking try to say that they are. But again, they're traitors, treasons. They're treasonous to what America is, like, innately. You know what I mean? It's a sovereign nation, right? Justice, equality. Right? Where's the justice if you're letting this man walk? There's no justice, right? Y'all set this president, So what you can tell is that whatever things they have envisioned, it doesn't have to do with justice, it doesn't have to do with equality, and it doesn't have to do with God, right? Or liberty. You know what I mean? It has to do with some bullshit, damn shit that y'all motherfuckers, I don't know what fucking shit. Y'all been talking for so goddamn long, I don't fucking know. Y'all been crying like little bitches. You know what I mean? And letting this man, just because y'all don't have the balls to say shit, y'all let this fucking man go and say shit for y'all. Motherfuckers, living vicariously through this some bitch. You know what I mean? Fuck. What else? Um, but like I said, I didn't know. You see, apathy is the word where what I was. What I think a lot of people like me, especially Latino population, were put into this state of apathy where you know, and I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, where the devil gets. This is where the devil starts to mess with you, like lead you astray and stuff. And I think it's just like it makes no sense. I mean, it's a state of apathy that they kept us in. You know, bombarded me with. Personally, but that's just personal. Anyway, the point is that, like, you know, all this, you know, misinformation, all this lying, all these things of like, and then they're trying to invoke religion into it and all this stuff. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic too. You know what I mean? It's just pathetic. And you know, I felt nothing but sorry for you fucking people that y'all have to put your faith in a piece of shit like that. You know what I mean? And that's just, he's a treasonous motherfucker. He's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And that's what you look out for. It's sad. It's like the remnants of a corrupted American dream. You know, we need to make America great again. Corrupted American dream. Back what time? When y'all were getting rich off the Federal Reserve? You know what I mean? Whom y'all now are $35 trillion in debt to. Now we are. I'm sorry, we are. You know what I mean? And who you're never gonna see that money. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, dog. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But apathy is the word, because y'all came with that bullshit. Y'all want to say, oh, Trump supporters are gay. He's a rapist. I mean, there are some Trump supporters that are gay. Oh my gosh, you know, I'm like, yo, I don't care. This is so stupid. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make them realize that they're doing this to their own people. I mean, that when you're attacking immigrants, you're attacking brown people. You're doing this to your own people. You're doing this to America. I mean, because immigrants contributed just undocumented people contributed $96 billion to the market. You know what I mean? To the Social Security, right? Without ever seeing benefits. You understand what I'm saying? You have hit older people worse than you realize. You know what I mean? And you know, also you are again, the border crisis again was a political effort to not reach a bipartisan issue. Okay, y'all were put in danger. So all those deaths that he's blaming on is his fault, and his Republicans. You can blame them for that shit. You know what I mean? Remember that shit. You know what I mean? And for real, because they didn't want to reach a bipartisan issue. They said no. They want fucking this stupid wall. They didn't do it the first time, and then they want to do it again. It's fucking bullshit, throwing money in a fucking big ass hole. Never ending hole, like it's gonna fill up and shit. Stupid motherfuckers. Instead of, and again, those nations, right? Those nations, right? That they come from are they were facing persecution and oppression because of the neglect of the U.S. people, of the U.S. Administration or whatever, the president's government, whatever, that had influence in those countries, who set up those puppet democracies, who set up those leaders and set up and affected them in that way, and then left them like that. You know what I mean? Who destabilized them and then left them like that, and for their own greed. You know what I mean? So those people set up those puppet democracies, set up those leaders that only they would answer to the U.S. whatever, and it didn't work, and they left it like that. So those were the people. So y'all just been duped, bro. You know, y'all stupid. And you know what y'all should have done is worked on the foreign relations with this side of the hemisphere. You know what I mean? And at least do some type of bipartisan issues to if you want to talk about security and stuff. But you didn't do those things, and you didn't even help those nations in the way that you should have. You didn't care about it. You don't even look outside of the United States, because that's how they want you to be enclosed. That's how they got to you. You know, coming from a perspective where that is not fucking indoctrinated by these motherfuckers. When y'all talk about God, I thought you were talking about the real thing. And when I talk about life, liberty, and justice, I thought you were talking about the real thing. I mean, that is a dream failed. I mean, yeah, don't talk to me about God, bro. That's why now I understand why the gay people say don't talk to me about God. And I understand why they're gay too, because they believe y'all stupid idiots. Y'all are the representatives. A rapist is the guy gonna tell me about God. I mean, you know, oh, God saved me and whatever. Yeah, maybe he showed you mercy so that you wouldn't be an idiot this time around. I mean, because you have so many people that are riding their faith on you. I mean, stupid, the last remnants of fucking white flight. You know what I mean? Of people who left the cities and hated and never freaking learned how to get along with black or brown people. I mean, racist. Oh man. And you know, I had to learn this shit without a college degree. But even I know how stupid this shit is. And I've experienced it, you know what I mean? And it's just so retarded how stupid you are. How stupid people make me seem that I am using the same type of programming that they used when I was like 14. I mean, same thing that they always do. They want to talk about their red pill. Oh man. You know, like I said, bro, the only guy that pulled up on a treasonous bastard was an incel 20-year-old kid who had more love for black and brown people, no matter he had more for people than the color of his skin. I mean, apparently. And you can't deny that because you can't disprove that because there's no evidence that he was deranged in any way. But I'm not gonna glorify him yet. I just know that what he shot at was a treasonous person. You know what I mean, and but that's what it is. What it is. Um, if you can't say the truth, then you don't have freedom. I think that the last person who said so much truth, I think his name was, I think he left the country or something. I mean, but hey, I'm just a crazy guy. What do I know, right? Whatever. Nobody's watching this, but if you do see this, then I'm probably telling you more than any red pill. You know, subscribe to me, vote for me. I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Just remember that God is good, and that the things happen for a reason sometimes, and that no matter what, the devil will not prevail, because God will intervene. Right? God will not allow evil to not even him. Right? That's what my mom told me. Right? And it's so good because I mean, they can laugh, they can shout, they can cry. They were crying like a baby for a year. You know what I mean? Hope they're happy. You know what I mean? Hope the right is happy because they've been crying for years. I mean, it's a drag. No, but you know what? Actually, I don't hope they're happy because they're deep inside. I mean, oh well.
Infuriating phenomenon taking place right now, where
Am I happy? Hell no, I'm not happy. I mean, I'm not even happy.
MAGA, now that Trump has won, goes, bah, we knew all along. What do I mean? They say, we knew that we did try to block the peaceful transfer of power, and the media was correct about that, as Nick Fuentes said. They've gone, we do believe these horrible things that you accused us of about women. And now we have Joe Rogan here going, wait, maybe it is true that Trump lies blatantly and viciously. This is my characterization of what you're about to hear Rogan say about our democratic systems and process. Nah, who cares? It's infuriating, but here it is. While you're watching this clip, please do remember to click that subscribe button. Yesterday we were back in the positives of people subscribing, looking like people are getting back engaged, understanding the importance of that after a momentary pause for some, which I totally understand. So if you want to support in that, click the subscribe button. We are still trying to get to 1 million subscribers, as that seems slightly less relevant right now, even though it still is, of course, a goal.
So, turns out, voting works. It's real. As much as we fucking thought shenanigans and bullshit, and it's just a puppet show, there's no way anybody can buck the system. Turns out, voting is still real.
Oh my gosh! You don't say. You don't say. Joe, who was telling you that before? Who could explain that to you before your guy won? Before we knew who was gonna win? Who was telling you that was the case? We were. Any introspection? Nah. Cause we won, so we don't care. But here's what's exciting. All of them admitting and going mask off, it will motivate us so much. And I'm telling you this, not in any way that's supposed to be intimidating or anything, just politically, you will regret this, MAGA. You will regret admitting and showing your true colors and lying about democracy for this long. You're right. You got us this time. I don't deny that. And you feel emboldened. But just this morning, we spent 4 hours working on something that will be our little part. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are going to be doing their part to make sure it doesn't happen again. A reminder of Joe Rogan just days before the election, entertaining Trump's election delusions.
I want to talk about 2020 because you said over and over that you were robbed in 2020.
Yeah, totally.
How do you think you were robbed? Everybody always cuts you off.
Well, they not only cut you off. Well, what I'd rather do is we'll do it another time, and I would bring in different papers.
Everybody wants to see those papers. The FBI, CIA, like the CIA, motherfucking everybody. The fucking, you know what I'm saying? Everybody. Why don't you should have produced them in court. I mean, fucking bitch.
That election was so crooked. It was the most crooked election.
Okay, but give me some examples of how.
Well, let's start from the top and the easy ones.
Okay.
They were supposed to get legislative approval to do the things they did, and they didn't get it. In many cases, they didn't get it.
What things?
Anything.
Legislative approval,
like for extensions of the voting, for voting earlier, for this,
right.
for all different things. By law, they had to get legislative approvals. You don't have to.
That doesn't say nothing. That they didn't get things approved. That proves that they rigged the election.
Any further than that, if you take a look at Wisconsin, they virtually admitted that the election was rigged, robbed, and stolen. They wouldn't give access in certain areas to the ballots because the ballots weren't signed. They weren't originals. We could go into this stuff. We could go into the ballots, or we could go into the overall. I'll give you another one.
Are you going to present this ever?
It's so full of shit.
Like, what do you think? Like,
let me just give you one more before. 51 intelligence agents come up that the laptop was from Russia. It turned out to be totally false.
51 former intelligence agents, right?
They say that made. I don't believe it's this much, but it doesn't have to.
There's just part in the Bible. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, bro. I don't know who the fuck told me to vote for this nigga. But I'm gonna back this up, bro. I've been a fucking lifelong Democrat, right? And I don't know what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck made me vote for this shit. I don't know what. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say that I you know what I'm saying, it's a mental fucking psyop. If you believe in conspiracy, I just don't know what it was. It was with religion. It was just a complete fucking. Now that I'm thinking, it's the fact that, you know, can you blame me? No fucking agency in this country that has been able to go after him has fucking stopped this motherfucking piece of shit. You understand? That's not grace. That's corruption in the highest order. And then him saying it is, and of course because he's still walking around. I mean, a lot of shit came to light. You know what I mean? And I think this man ran to church. There has never been so much bullshit. So can you blame me? I mean, can you fucking blame me? Like, the fucking police, he's not in jail. He's raped people. He motherfucking, so he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Motherfucker, he won the presidency once, and I didn't vote for him. I mean, He motherfucking he fucking did all this shit. I mean, can you blame me that nobody in this country, the only motherfucker that ever put up on this nigga was a 20-year-old incel? I mean, can you blame me? You know what I mean? When all you motherfuckers, all y'all talk shit about him, like no agency has ever taken him down. Okay? What the fuck? Okay? And they said, no. Oh no, don't hate the system, bro. It's not corrupted and shit, bro. I mean, no. You're guilty. You're guilty. I mean, they want to lock us up, and they don't want to lock this nigga up. He committed treason. They don't want to lock him up. Why? Because he talks. I think just give I think you gotta wear earmuffs when you come after this nigga. Don't listen to a fucking word the devil says. I mean, and fucking, you know what I'm saying? And you want me to motherfucking say that I'm guilty or that I'm gonna regret it? Yeah, I'm gonna regret it, nigga. I'm gonna regret that motherfucker didn't miss, that he missed. I mean, shit. Like, I'm gonna regret that no agency has ever been able to stop this man. I'm gonna regret that there's a rapist, there's a motherfucker that y'all look up and y'all embrace him in a fake church. That made me think that it was real. You know what I mean?